Guys, you want to hear something crazy? They just wrapped on set last night. Like, they worked all through the night. As we were walking over, I was like, I just got the call sheet for Tuesday. Like, they worked straight through the night.
Are you in Vancouver time, or are you super tired?
I think I was like sort of shocked awake this morning. I was like, really? My alarm's going off right now? So yes, we'll see. I'll really want a nap today. Like, that's gonna be the hard part. At lunch, I'm like, just let me be.
Well, welcome to Dragon Con.
Thanks.
Oh, thank you.
You're in for big crowds.
You think?
You're gonna
Oh,
see.
yeah.
Oh yeah. There will be people dressed like you.
Really?
Oh yeah.
People had mentioned that at other conventions. They're like, I didn't know how to dress like Caitlin. And I was like, it's so easy. It's a pencil skirt and a blue top. Throw some heels on and you're good to go.
There you go. Is there like a notebook that says Star Lab?
I know.
Well, I have a question. Since there have been so many changes at the end of the season with your character, Wells, Iris joining the team, and Cisco possibly discovering some vibe powers, how do you think, what are your thoughts on how that's going to change that happy Star Labs Team Flash harmony that we saw in the first season?
You know, I think what's good about the show is that there is an inherent chemistry between us all, which is really nice. So I think that will stick. I mean, obviously some time is going to pass between season 1 finale and season 2 premiere. And so that'll give the various characters some time to sort of deal with the changes.
Yeah. Somebody else can go.
I know, like, after the first episode, you guys are like a couple months after the season finale, so it's going to be interesting to see how you guys are adjusting with no Harrison Wells anymore.
The finale, the season premiere will address some stuff from the finale. It's not just, you know, all of the, it's not like there's some title card that just says 6 months later. Like,
okay.
There will, you know, we will deal with the singularity and everything that's going on. Tom's still on the show.
Oh, I know.
So I'm not against it.
We talked to John yesterday, so.
Oh, I'm excited to see them. The boys made it here before we did. Clearly, you guys have that.
Do you hang out with the Castero a lot offset?
I would love to. Obviously, Katie Casty's a dear friend of mine, and you know, our schedules are pretty consuming. You know, when we work, Friday was my day off, but we still worked until 2 o'clock in the morning on Thursday. So it's not like at 2 o'clock in the morning, it's like, hey guys, who's around? Anybody want to go grab a drink? And Arrow's hours are actually worse than ours, so I would like to. There's definitely plans to, but I also, it's a little bit harder for me because on weekends I go home back to LA. I still consider LA home, so I go back more often, but you know, I'm always desperate to find a workout buddy.
Yeah. What are some of your off-camera hobbies that you like to do in LA and Vancouver?
I mean, I think, you know, just generally a healthy lifestyle is important. Obviously, I'm obsessed with my dog. You know, it's just trying to live life as normal as possible, despite the, you know, the hours that we have to work on the show.
Little kids seem to be really big fans of the show. What responsibility do you feel portraying such a successful doctor? And what are your feelings on Caitlin possibly inspiring a little girl to really sing things?
Oh, I think it's amazing. It's so nice. And yes, it's great. I love that. One of my favorite things to hear is when people tell me that they watch the show as a family. And so I love that families watch it together and that people can relate to Caitlin, and hopefully she does inspire people. You know, I was a total nerd growing up. Just spent too much time in math class and that sort of thing. So it's nice, you know, it's nice to have that woman out there who is successful and loves her job, and you know, even though it's she's a doctor and feels nice.
With the introduction of Patty Spivot in season 2, and knowing that she loves science, will we get to see her interact with your character in Star Lab?
I would love that. Chantel is amazing. I don't know if the boys spoke to you about how wonderful she is, but we're really, really lucky. The 2 big additions to our cast this season are Chantel and Teddy, and they're both so wonderful. I mean, they truly feel like they belong on our show. Like, I remember Jesse said that at one point very early on to Teddy, like, you fit here, dude. Like, it's perfect. So that's been great. Chantal and I, we've not had, she's great. We haven't actually worked together yet as of episode 6, but my understanding is that will change. And I'm really looking forward to it. I don't know what context it'll change. Hopefully she'll come to Star Labs. Maybe we can just be 2 girls hanging out. I think Caitlin needs some girlfriends.
Are you hoping that Caitlin gets more out of the lab and stuff?
Always. One of my favorite episodes from last season was, well, 2 of my favorite episodes were both the karaoke episode and, the episode 13-14 where everything happens with Ronnie and Firestorm. So in those, Caitlin's out of the lab. Like, it's fun to see that. Of course I want fun. I wish I was in charge of these things.
So what can you tell us about Killer Frost?
Oh man, no one is more excited for Caitlin to become Killer Frost than I am. Unfortunately, I don't know when that will happen. It's hard. On the show, the writers will say, oh, this is what's going to happen. We're looking forward to this. This is what we're thinking. And then, as the scripts evolve, sometimes they don't make it in the scripts as soon as we would hope.
Yeah.
And then, sometimes we shoot things that don't even make it into the show. I mean, I said previously, I think our season 1 finale was over 20 minutes long. So that's 20 minutes of stuff that they cut out of just storylines that, little things. Like they explained how Caitlin asked Barry to go get her wedding dress, and they explained the toilets in, the pipeline and that sort of thing. And just because we only have 42, 44 minutes for each episode, stuff just sort of rolls. So, long story short, I am useless in terms of Killer Frost. I want it to happen very, very badly. Unfortunately, I don't know that it's happening anytime soon.
What is the toilets in the pipeline? Everybody should put that on a reel somewhere.
No, hopefully. I mean, hopefully stuff like that will end up like on deleted scenes or the DVD. It was cool. It was when they had, I'm pretty sure it's when they had Tom in the pipeline. But they, they like come out of the wall and they slide back in.
Oh, that's cool.
It was fun, that scene that they did cut with you delivering all the different foods
Oh yeah.
and such.
They cut that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I mean, we shoot stuff, and in my head, it's a part of the story.
Right.
And then, doesn't end up cutting your floor.
Questions from the back?
What were your expectations like when you first joined the show, and then how has that changed after the success of the first season going forward?
What were my expectations? I don't know that I had very many expectations when I joined the show, just because I am new to this whole comic book world. So, it's not like I knew who the Flash was and that sort of thing. So it's been fun to explore it, and it's also been nice to see. I've read some of the comics, and it's nice to see how they, are respectful to the original stories, but also kind of do their own twist on it. I'm very excited. We have Dr. Lake coming this season, and I'm really excited about that. So, it's nice not having any expectations. No way to be left out.
What was your first experience with the intensity, let's say, with which some comic book fans, love this material and feel about it?
Twitter. Twitter, yeah. It's, I'm still fairly new to social media. I think I have a pretty healthy fear of social media. And Twitter, I think, is where I do get the most response and interaction. Because we shoot in Vancouver, and like I said, we shoot 80 hours a week. So it's not like we have that much interaction with people who watch the show or comic book fans. These conventions, I've done a handful this year, and that's been really great. It's nice. It's nice to see the response there. But yeah, Twitter's, it's crazy how much the internet allows us to communicate.
What was your audition process like?
So fast, super duper fast. I remember we'd been in New York. It was January last year. I'd been in New York, and I flew back on like a Monday night or a Tuesday night, and by Friday I had the role. It was incredibly fast.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was great. Sitting down with David. I adore David Nutter. I think David's the one who really sold me on the show. and obviously, you know, I've known Greg for years. One of the first, I used to be obsessed with Everwood. Like, that was one of my favorite shows when I was younger. And I got an opportunity to be on the show that I ended up not being able to do, but I cried. I was so sad that I couldn't be on Everwood. So obviously Greg's name had stuck around, like stuck in my head, and he'd done such amazing work in television. So it was exciting to get the possibility to work with him as well.
When you appeared in the episode of Arrow originally, was it already that you were going to be an ongoing character on Flash and such, or was it just supposed to be a one-off?
So the way it worked is I signed on to do the pilot, and then they asked if Carlos and I would do an episode of Arrow as well. So we knew we were doing the pilot, and it was just an added bonus to sort of introduce our characters on Arrow.
Cool. Is there any concern among the crew and cast that with the introduction of stuff like flashpoints, time travel, and the introduction to Golden Age Flash, Jay Garrick, that the show might get too confusing for a mainstream audience?
I mean, it definitely, again, because I'm not as familiar with that comic book world, it does, I have to have them sit me down and explain. Andrew was up on set this week, and I was like, now can you just slow this down for me just a little bit? But I think, you know, I think they were pretty ambitious last year in terms of the storylines they took on. Like, who would have thought that they would take on Reverse Flash in season 1?
Sure.
And I think it worked all right. So hopefully hopefully it'll be similar this year. You know, we take on, they're not afraid of taking on big storylines, which is great. And I love that they're so ambitious, and I think it sort of inspires the writers to work harder to pull it off. So I don't know if they're concerned. That's from my perspective, though.
What further can you say about that Jay Garrick storyline? Any details you can give?
What further can I say? I love him. So great. He's such a nice, like you said, he's a wonderful addition to the show. I'm very excited. I'm going to have him on the show. I'll be breaking on highs. I'm like, oh God, what am I not supposed to say?
Do you have a favorite villain from the past season?
I have lots of favorite villains. I love Captain Cold.
Yeah.
I think he's great. I really like the Weather Wizard. Who else? Oh yeah, Emily. She's great. Maybe also, look, it's fun. I know they have plans to bring some villains back, which is nice. It's, you know, again, we're really lucky. Like a lot of, you know, like Mark Hamill wants to be on Flash. It's crazy. So we've gotten very lucky with the people who have come aboard, and hopefully, I know you will see some familiar faces in season 2.
What are some of the harder scenes you've shot? Or do you have one that sticks out in your mind as being most poignant memory?
The hardest thing to do is to keep a straight face sometimes, actually. You know, we do have such a good rapport, and we have a lot of fun, and, you know, like, having Victor on set is the best. Every once in a while, I'm like, holy crap. Like, I can't believe he's here, and he's so awesome, and he loves to play asshole with us. Like, he's the best. So, yes, I think the hardest thing can be keeping a straight face.
Everyone seems to be triple threats. Do you think that there's seriously potential of Flash the musical?
I'm the worst person to ask because I'm not a triple threat. Like, I'm a triple, it's threatening if you have me sing on the show. I don't know. I mean, hopefully my fantasy is that they'll incorporate it in more sort of organic ways. Like, I'd love to see, like, Jesse and Grant singing in the car or something like that. I think that's cool.
Are there any scenes you see and just get really excited about to film?
I feel like I'm not allowed to tell you what's happening in 7, but that's so we're shooting 6 right now, and so we've got the script for 7, and 7 is gonna be cool. Yeah, I feel like every week there's something new, and often challenging. It's like, really? That's what, like, we're gonna pull this off? All right. Can't wait. Sign me up. But, you know, again, we had Andrew up this week, and he just had such wonderful things to say about the crew. Everybody has such pride in the show and works really hard. So, you know, Tyler builds these amazing sets. You know, it's fun to like walk on. I won't tell you what that is either. See, not enough coffee to like dodge these better. But like these new sets that he built, they're beautiful, and it's cool. My job is cool, like, to walk. Like they've done such an amazing job. So it is. It's exciting to see.
Go ahead.
Dr. Wells was a mentor to Cisco and Caitlin, and they depended on him for a lot of different situations. But we eventually see Martin Stein come into play. So will we continue to see him, or will he not be involved at all?
Yes, we will see more of Professor Stein, which is great. Episode 4, I get to work a lot with Victor, which is so nice. It's just the best. So he'll be around for a while. Obviously, Legends is coming. We start production next week. But yeah, he'll be around for a little bit.
Speaking of which, will you be involved in Legend of Tomorrow at all?
I would love to. At one point, again, things change and it depends. I mean, it's gonna be impressive to see how they incorporate just schedule-wise, because everyone working together and crossovers. I would love to. They have huge plans for Legends. And, you know, it's so many characters. I mean, obviously, Caitlin's very closely tied to Firestorm, and Captain Cold and Heatwave originated on Flash, so it would be great to go over there.
The chemistry between the Star Labs crew was amazing and everything. Did you know that Tom was going to be the Reverse Flash from the very beginning, or when they started the production, or was he just supposed to be Harrison Wells? To you guys,
I may be misremembering, but I believe I knew from the beginning that he was going to be. I think I knew he was going to be a Reverse Flash. I knew he was going to be a villain. You know, because that's what's so fun. I mean, I haven't done this, but it was fun to watch Tom's performance and his work, especially early on in the season, and all, you know, everything he does with his eyes. You know, you want to take him at face value, but as you watch him work, there's so many more layers to his performance. So I'm pretty sure I knew for a while.
because you played it perfectly.
Oh, thanks. You know what? They also gave me great material. 19 was such a great episode for Caitlin because you get to see her, you know, not want to accept change and accept who he really is.
What can you tell us about Caitlin Run?
I also love Robbie. He's the best. What can I tell you? They got married. He's on the way. And he's in the Flash. Did you ask him that question?
No, I did not. Somebody was asking me if he would be on the Flash for more.
So, since they have similar powers, are you hoping to team up at some point with Captain Cold when you're Killer Frost?
Wouldn't that be great? I pitched the storyline. I was like, I feel like Captain Cold should be involved in the way Caitlin becomes Killer Frost somehow. I would love that. I don't know. Ironic that what is it? When you love your captor so much?
Stockholm Syndrome.
Yeah. Maybe a little Stockholm Syndrome. But I certainly thought it was a great idea. I don't know if it'll come to be, but it would be fun.
Time for one more question.
What was your, still a last question. Your experience working on Justified.
Oh, the
also
best.
Also a rabid fan base, different show completely, but.
See, I didn't experience that the way I experienced the fan base for Flash, and that's probably because I wasn't as big a part of it. I only did 6 episodes. But it was a very isolated experience because I pretty much just worked with Joelle, and we were just in prison. So I would show up and I would shoot one day each episode, and we'd shoot in this weird prison east of LA that used to be a prison, and there were some of those scenes where we would have to be on the floor, and she and I would be like, oh, I'm not sure about the cleanliness of this floor. But she's lovely. I saw her over the summer, so it was great. And I got to see Tim again, which is fun. Yeah, it was a really good experience.
Over the years, you've been in a lot of different types of horror films, from the Friday 13th reboot to Piranha 3DD to recently Time Lapse, which I thought you were brilliant in.
Okay.
Do you think working in horror films has helped you as an actress? And of all those, which is your favorite?
I think working in general helps you as an actress. I think, continuing to create and to collaborate, that's how you grow. Do I have a favorite?
Mm-hmm.
There was a reason that I kept saying yes, because I felt everyone was a little bit different. Like Friday the 13th is it was a reboot. It was like, teenagers running through the woods. Like, that's a specific kind of movie. And then, Piranha 3DD, I wanted to have more comedy. I thought it was maybe an opportunity to sort of work on my comedic skills. The Ward was an opportunity to work with John Carpenter. Like, he's such a legend. Did I have a favorite? I don't know. I mean, for personal reasons, I loved Friday the 13th. That was such an amazing time. I mean, there were a dozen of us living at the Four Seasons in Austin on per diem. Like, it was ridiculous. And I met some of my best friends in the world because of that. So that one, but that's probably not why you thought I'd say that one.
Do you have a favorite moment from Sky High?
So many. I love Michael. He's such a wonderful, wonderful human being. That again is another like pinch me, is this real kind of thing. Just the magnitude of the sets that they created, the actors that we had around. Like, I was also young enough in some of my early stuff, like Empire Falls and Sky High, that like being around Kurt Russell and Kelly Preston was just like, oh, these cool people who are fun to hang out with. But I think it was, it was the cast of that movie, like Michael Angarano, Nick Braun. We just had so much fun, and like getting dressed up for a prom, like kind of, it felt at the end of shooting more than anything. So like getting to wear that green dress was cool. And Cloris Leachman was hilarious. We didn't work together, but like she's a teeny tiny little person, and I'll never forget. I'm not sure if this is appropriate. Who cares? She does not come up very high on me, and there was like a keyhole in my dress, and so all of a sudden, like, all she's interested in doing is like, she's like flexing with my dress, and I was like, I think she's gonna feel me up, but it's fine.
We had a listener who really wanted to know if you had any good stories working with Bruce Campbell in that movie.
We didn't work together. I mean, I think that was also one of the earlier scenes we shot, was everything in the gym. Bruce was great. I remember him being like such a big personality. I don't even know if he'd remember me, quite frankly. But I certainly remember working with him. It's funny.
You and I actually happen to be from the same small town in Texas, Orange.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
My sister was born there. We moved every 2 years growing up, so it's hard to say where I'm from.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever met anyone from Orange, Texas.
It's pretty small. So
It is.
Yeah. But what advice would you give for small town kids that may see themselves in you and want to do what you do?
It's so funny. I was thinking about this yesterday as I was flying in. Like, I essentially kind of started acting when we lived here in a suburb of Atlanta. And I'm in the shower this morning, I was trying to remember the name of the theater that we did. I think it was Fayetteville, Peachtree City, I don't know, but it was just community theater. Like, that's how both my sister and I got started, is doing community theater and just local stuff. And I think that's the best way to pursue a career, is just to put yourself out there and be involved in whatever capacity, community theater, classes, anything else you can do in your world, and just keep trying and keep putting yourself out there.
Yeah. That's all we have.
That's so funny. The first boy I ever had a crush on was in Orange, Texas.